Hi YouTube and welcome back to my Let's Play Minecraft on Mondays. So as you recall, last week I've recovered somewhat from my death down in the caverns under the house, and I went ahead and started my farming operation, growing some wheat at the side of the house now. And since it's nighttime and I still don't have any armor and things, I still haven't gone back all the way down into the caverns to recover my lost items. I am now just mining at night to avoid the majority of monsters that might possibly be in the mines, and I've started doing this kind of digging right here by the staircase near that goes up into the house, and just kind of started a whole new dig here, dig operation. And you can see how far I got with the last time, and you can also see that I'm still having the Sphax PureBDCraft glitch with the stone blocks. It's only the stone blocks that have this glitch. Everything else is rendering normally. Although the tools like this pickaxe that you see is also a bit more pixelated, I think, than it's supposed to be. But at any rate, here you can see I finally hit a vein of iron and not copper, iron and coal again. I haven't had a chance to replenish all my iron yet. I'm trying to get enough iron so I can build a bucket and possibly also some iron armor, so that I can perhaps then feel a bit more safe going down into the bowels of the caverns where I lost all my items. And I'm trying very hard not to die again before that happens, so that I can recover the things that I lost, including my diamonds, because I did find a nice small cache of diamonds earlier, a few episodes ago, and unfortunately those were lost when I died, and I definitely need to go back and retrieve them without dying again. So I've been extra cautious with my gameplay since that incident with me getting lost down in the caverns and everything. But now slowly recovering my cache of coal and iron so that I can slowly start building things again. I had so much of those materials on me when I died, and it was really stupid of me not to go back and put those safely away into a storage box while I was exploring. That was unfortunate that I did that. But be that as it may, I am slowly recovering, and as you saw, I started the farming operation. So starting with farming just wheat, and because there's plenty of cows in the area, so that's the next thing. Once it's daylight out again, that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build a corral and try and corral some cows, and start breeding some cows so that I can have leather as well. Alright, so I spent quite a long time mining down there, and I just kind of skipped past some of that because it was quite a bit, and I didn't really find any more minerals with the additional mining that I did. And I'm definitely hearing monsters and things and spiders and stuff throughout the entire time I was playing. So, and here I was struggling to get back up. I need to widen that staircase a little bit. But, so going back up to the house now, and you can hear the spider. I don't know if you can hear it. I've turned the in-game volume down a bit, but there's definitely a spider up here somewhere. I'm looking around for it here, as you can see. And closing off that door there so that I'm relatively safe. I know that wooden doors are not as good as iron doors, but you know, we'll get to that eventually. I do eventually want to expand this house. I really should be building a bed so that I, not that I really need a bed in this particular house, just because my spawn point is right outside this house, so I don't necessarily need a bed. But you know, it would be nice to have one so that I can maybe skip night times sometimes, especially if I want to kind of focus a little bit more on farming and things. But I should have a bed or two built so that as I eventually go out exploring into the world, like I said, I wanted to go explore and find myself a wolf to tame, bring him back, etc. You can see outside there's a couple of zombies out there. And just like with the last episode where I had a skeleton outside my house, once the daylight hit, they kind of, it was covered in these red blocks that said no patch on them. And those guys also had the same thing. And now they just kind of disappeared. So I guess they just kind of blink out or blink back down to the caves or something during the day. So here, might as well go ahead and smelt my iron that I just mined, and still hearing that spider, so I need to go out here and deal with that now that the rest of the monsters have gone away. I didn't want to deal with the spider until I knew that I wasn't going to have to deal with a spider and a zombie, etc. Alrighty, so here we go. So that takes care of that spider, and now it should be fairly safe for me to come out here and do some more work on my farm. Now that I've got the wheat growing nicely, the next thing I want to do is build a corral for some cows, and then start gathering a couple of cows so that I can start breeding them. And the first thing I want to do here is a little bit of outdoor remodeling, so to speak. First off, I'm just cleaning up the steps up to the wheat field, and then here I'm kind of clearing off the top of this side near the house, and this is where ultimately I'm going to put the corral. I just wanted to kind of flatten parts of this out. And yes, earlier I was breaking up the dirt with just another stone block, and now I'm using a pickaxe, which I know you don't really need a pickaxe for dirt, but I don't know, it just felt right to do that. So, and I decided not to clear out all the grass from here because I figured that for the cows, they probably want want some grass. I honestly don't know if they eat or not, but oops. Yep. See, I was trying to put the fence posts down, and for some reason it just it was aiming badly. So I was like, all right, let's go get these gathered back up again. There we go. I kept wanting to go onto the grass, onto the other block there. The grass block was kind of blocking it. And then here I realized, you know what, I want it to be longer than that, and I need to place some dirt down to be able to get this nicely squared away here. So let's just kind of fill in the dirt. And some of the dirt is getting grass almost immediately. Probably one of the reasons why I may not need to bring water for my wheat field, just because there's plenty of rain in this area, as I mentioned before, and so it's very possible I may not need to bring water. I mean, I know some people always recommend having water into the wheat field, and then probably, if I'm gonna do it at all, it's just to help, like, because there's uneven growth in the wheat that I have now, and so placing water near the areas that grow more slowly, I think that might be where I'm gonna need the water. So we'll see how I ultimately end up doing that. But in general, this area seems to be pretty fertile and wet with the oops, yet another bad placement, but with the rain and everything, so it seems to be a good area for growing the wheat. So we'll see how fancy I ultimately end up getting, because I know some people get like super fancy with their farms and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to get that fancy. We'll see how fancy I get there, but here I'm gonna take one section out so I could put in a gate. So here we go. One gate. I always like to test to make sure it works. I know it's gonna work, but I still like to test it. And then checking on how my wheat's doing here, and I'm gonna need some wheat in order to lure some of those tasty cows. So I've got some nice wheat growing here. Yep, that one wasn't quite ripe yet, but I smashed it anyway. I wasn't paying that close attention to it, but all of this back here is ripe. For those of you who aren't familiar with Sphax PureBDCraft, obviously the wheat looks a little different in this texture pack than it does in the standard default texture pack. And those ones are not ripe yet. They're just slightly green still. And I'm like, whoops, I hit the wrong mouse key there. I keep confusing myself between the different mouse keys, and especially with the farming part of it, where if you do one, you're going to break the block. If you do the other, you're just going to clear off the top of it so that you can plant things. So I tend to confuse myself on those quite often. But I actually have a lot of problems with left and right in the real world, so to speak. I tend to confuse the two quite often. It's one of the reasons why I find it not just difficult, but nearly impossible to drive a stick shift car, because I kept hitting the clutch with my left foot when I meant to hit the brake with my right, etc. So I definitely struggle with that, and so anytime I have to do a right click when it's supposed to be a left click, or vice versa, I end up always clicking the wrong thing initially, and then like realizing it's the wrong thing and then clicking the other thing. It's just a problem that I've always kind of had, and something that I've never quite been able to get past completely, especially if I have to do something quickly. If I can sit there and really think about it for a minute, then I'll choose the correct side, choosing right versus left, etc. But very often I will make a mistake if I do it too quickly, and always do the wrong one. Anyway, so here I am attempting to lure a couple of cows. So, and the cows in the Sphax PureBDCraft texture pack, they look very angry. So here I have the cows, and I thought that they were right behind me. So I've lured cows before in other games that I've played that I haven't recorded, that you guys haven't seen, and all I had to do was get up close to the cows, and they kind of stuck behind me for ever. And here I am also trying to struggle getting into the narrow entranceway of the gate. There we go. And I'm like, okay, where's my cows? Hey, there's no cows. Where did they go? They didn't follow me. Apparently they didn't want the wheat very much. So I was like, ah, crap, and the sun's going down. Monster's about to come out. I still don't have any armor. Well, I'll give up now. So for now, I'm giving up with gathering the cows, and I will make a second attempt in next week's video. But for now, I think this video is long enough again. So until next week, thanks so much for joining me, and bye-bye.